Hello, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is going to be a different kind of video. Pretty much going to be talking to you guys on how to change your mindset. Today we're just going to talk all about how to change your mindset. I think I'm doing this episode on my channel where I call it Therapy Tuesday, and every 2 weeks on Tuesday I post a video of pretty much how to better yourself, whether it's your mental health, how to be more disciplined, how to be kind to yourself and to others, just motivational stuff like to help you guys elevate any sort of way. Guys, ignore the pimple on my days. I don't know how I ended up having this pimple, but just came up. But anyway, the lighting, not gonna lie, I think, let's see. Yeah, the lighting is fine. So yeah, and I'm also going to be doing my hair. I need to straighten it a bit. Baby, go down. Yeah. Right. Let's just get straight into it. I even got my iPad. Bought myself an iPad. I feel like it'd be much better for my videos. Ugh, let me clean it. I need to get a iPad case as well. So yeah. Right. This video is basically based on how to change your mindset. I have my 2 notebooks that will help with that. And also, everything I'm saying, I pretty much learned over the years. And also, I have a book that I read that actually helps pretty much start to better your mindset in any sort of way. I know everyone will notice, but our thoughts determine who we are. Literally, because I can't say, oh, I'm unworthy or I can't change, and expect me to literally change. I'm literally pouring negativity into myself, into my mind, pretty much being negative. Why do you think it's so hard for someone to be around someone that's negative? Why do you think a negative person can't make much friends, can't stay in a friendship? Why? Because you understand, when you're around someone that's negative, you're going to end up adapting that sort of mindset for yourself. It's very important that you surround yourself with people that's going to pour into you and pour into themselves. You can't pour negativity into yourself and expect to be inspirational or expect to change, because you won't. Because at the end of the day, you're pretty much pouring negativity into yourself. So how are you going to change when you're literally pouring negativity? You pretty much believe it, all negative thoughts that comes to your head. That's another thing as well. The person we are determines how we think. So if we think negative, we're going to become negative. If we think we're not good enough, then we're not going to become good enough. It's all about how you think. So one thing I would say that helps is journaling. Now I know I say this all the time, but journaling actually plays a lot of big factor in how to better yourself when it comes to your mental health, because every sort of goal. Like even most people, they have vision boards. Why do you think people have vision boards? Because they're literally pouring that positive mindset into themselves. They're visualizing what they want and they're going for it, because why? Because they have a vision for themselves. Now I don't do vision boards. A lot of people do. What helps me is to pretty much write down what I want, write down my goals, and actually going by them. For example, I wrote down notes. So start by writing down the automatic thoughts that comes to your head. Now, automatic thoughts means any thoughts that's negative, write down. Literally, you feel like, why the hell can you write down negative thought? I'm telling you now, write it down so you're actually aware that what's coming into your head. You can't just like think negative thought and then let it stay there and meditate on it constantly, because if you do that, you're pretty much gonna put yourself in deep depression. So any sort of negative thought, which means much automatic thoughts, write it down. Then you rationalize the response for 15 minutes every day for 2 weeks and see the effects it has on your mood, measured by Burns depression checklist. David Burns. I know you guys will know, it's his psychologist, a guy called David Burns, and he pretty much go by pretty much what I'm saying. I'm pretty much reading his book. I'm going to show you what the book I read at the end of this video, so you will know. And I'll also put the purchase down so you can buy it yourself. But pretty much every automatic thought, you write it down, then you rationalize that thought. For example, automatic thoughts, everyone knows how unorganized and selfish I am. That's pretty much what you're saying to yourself. It's an example, pretty much. So when you can say, oh, people think I'm selfish, unorganized, write that down. Then understand what that thought is. That thought is pretty much a cognitive distortion. Pretty much jump into conclusion. Just jump into conclusion. Any sort of thought that's automatic, you believe in it, is a form of basically jump into conclusion. So you rationalize that thought. Okay, I'm thinking this thought. Then I'm going to rationalize it. I'm going to say, okay, this thought is very much me jump to conclusions. Then you rationalize the response by pretty much being a self-defense onto that thought, and you say, yes, I'm disorganized at certain things. However, that doesn't mean I'm an unorganized person. And then you pour that positivity into yourself. So you're fighting back against every negative thought with a positive thought. And I recommend doing that, but doing it by writing it down. I don't recommend you trying to reorganize your thoughts by thinking, because it's pretty much not going to be that effective, because you're going to end up going back to negative thought. I feel like it's very important that you write down how you feel, and then pretty much just write down, jot down how you feel, and that's very much therapeutic for yourself. You need to pretty much fight against these negative thoughts by writing down the positive thoughts that combat the negative thoughts. Now that's just an example of, so basically one example was saying that you're an organized person, people think you're an unorganized person. That pretty much jump into conclusion, and then you self-defense that thought by saying, yes, I'm unorganized at times, but I'm also organized at times. Everybody don't think the same way about me. So yes, people think, oh, an organized person, doesn't mean everyone think that. Then another thought, it could be anything. It could be okay, I'm unworthy of love, or I'm never gonna find the right person for me, I'm not gonna be in a relationship, I'm just very toxic. These are all negative thoughts, by the way. So then you know the fact that's pretty much you jump to conclusions. So you write down all negative thought that you're feeling, then you write down, okay, I know it's negative, I know this thought not making me feel good about myself, which means I'm jumping to conclusion about these thoughts. Then you fight against these thoughts by saying, no one think that way of me. I might have toxic ways, but it's me, I'm a toxic person. And each day I'm learning to change my ways. You can't agree with every negative thought that comes to your head. No, never agree with any negative thought that comes to your head. You know that those thoughts are not thoughts that come from you, but also comes from what you watch and how you speak about yourself. So it's very important that you literally write, like, basically pretty much be a self-defense for yourself. Fight against negative thoughts by combating them with positive thoughts. Now, people that have a relationship with God, I'll say this is very easy. Not easy in the sense where, oh, it's going to be easier for you to overcome, because negative thoughts are an ongoing thing. And you're always going to be, negative thoughts are going to come. Easy in the sense where in the Bible it actually teaches you how to literally overcome negative thoughts. In the Bible, literally shows you literally stories of people literally going against God because of the way they're thinking and how they're acting. They should go against what God wants for them. And also shows you, and the Bible literally teaches you a lot of, like, it literally shows you how to overcome these thoughts, because in Bible literally shows you love, discipline. The Bible literally discipline when it comes to your thoughts, when it comes to your action, when it comes to your lifestyle, everything. So, for example, when God said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, and don't lean on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. Now, these are thoughts. He's saying that to trust on him. Why? Because God knows that our thoughts can lead us astray. That's literally one Bible verse that she's teaching us how to overcome negative thoughts. It's saying trust God. Trust in him with all your heart. Don't lean on your negative thoughts. Just trust him and he'll direct your path. Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. Another positive thought. Another way to overcome negative thoughts is when he said, peace I leave unto you, not as the world give, that I give unto you. Let not be your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. People are saying peace comes from him. So go to him. Do not focus on the world, because the world will not give you peace. Like, this goes on. Like, it's so many things that always teaches us when it comes to how to combat our negative thoughts. And pretty much the goal to reach overcome that negative thought is to focus on God. Don't focus on the world, pretty much. Focus on God. Now people that don't believe in God, it still teaches you that not to focus on the world. Pretty much I would say is that don't focus on the world, but focus on changing the negative thoughts with the positive ones. Right. Apart from another thing I want you guys to know as well is discipline. You can't go on with your life and lack discipline. Discipline is literally pretty much in every single thing. This video is all to do with pretty much how to combat negative thoughts. So you can't have discipline when you have such a negative mindset. Another thing that I want you guys to know is also self-monitoring. Actually self-monitoring these thoughts, negative thoughts. This is called mental biofeedback. This is another technique another technique to overcome your thought, which is systematic self-monitoring frequently helps develop increased self-control, which requires monitoring the negative thoughts to a risk counter. Click each button when negative thoughts comes at each day. Note daily total score and write it down in a logbook. Like every negative thought, well, you don't really need a risk counter, because we already know. You already know when negative thoughts come. Do a risk counter if you want to, but I feel like you don't really need it, because we all know when a negative thoughts comes in our head. Sometimes we normally just indulge and not really do much about it. So anytime negative thought comes in your head, take note of it, and each day note a daily score and write it down on your logbook. Each day take down the amount of time you experience negative thought. Write down a negative thought, and then in that way you know when negative thoughts come. Majority of the time our negative thoughts come when we pretty much by ourselves. We're alone, which means that because we're not occupying our mind when we're alone. For example, if you're alone and you don't do anything, I don't think you should sit there and not do anything. I feel like you should definitely get up and do something when you're alone, whether it's pretty much reading a book, journaling, write down our thoughts, or Bible study. Literally, I normally do Bible study whenever I'm alone, because it helps me overcome these negative thoughts. Sometimes these negative thoughts, we don't even know when they're coming. They just come automatically. So it's very important that you pretty much occupy your mind. So these negative thoughts, you won't indulge in them, because you're pretty much occupying your mind with something else. Another thing as well, have a hobby. In a sense where go to the gym, exercise, pour into yourself. Literally, the more you pour into yourself, the more you're able to overcome negative thoughts, because you're not doing anything that's going to make you fall into a trap of being negative, And that goes to any, like, I realized that as well. Spend less time watching TV. Sometimes watch TV and be literally end up analyzing a lot of people's life on TV to the point that now we feel negative about ourselves. Why? Because we're comparing ourselves. And this comparison thing, it comes on you sneakily. Like, you even know you're comparing yourself until you lay in bed and you think to yourself, wow, all these things people do, I'm not doing anything. Like, these negative thoughts comes out suddenly. Being negative is a choice. Being positive is also a choice. Everything's a choice. We just think we have no choice. You need to understand that everything we do is a choice. Another thing else, conviction. The Bible also teaches us conviction. What's happened in GPT, and say, how many times does the Bible teaches about conviction? I ain't gonna tell you how many times God pretty much teaches about conviction. See, it says the exact word conviction appears only a few times, mostly in modern translation. Core idea of conviction found dozens of times in relation to the Holy Spirit's work, faith and conscience, and preaching and correction. Conviction is pretty much correction. Now, you can't go through life and not have a sense of correction because of other people and it comes to yourself. You should never correct yourself whenever you do something wrong. I say, okay, I did something that wasn't right. I feel bad about it. I'm going to tell that person, I'm sorry. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. Every human should very much self-analyze themselves in that sense. And that comes to your thoughts too. For you to actually overcome negative thought, you got to have conviction. You got to be able to know when a thought is not from you. You got to understand that these thoughts are not a version of you or version of yourself. It's just a negative thought that you choose to indulge in. Once you have that mindset of that, you will know that these thoughts are not from you. Especially in the Bible, it teaches the Holy Spirit work, faith, conscience, and preaching and correction. So if God's teaching you peace, joy, discipline, self-control, all these things, and then a negative thought goes in your head, you know the fact that these negative thoughts are not from God. Why? Because God pretty much teaches us opposite from that. God, anything that's negative, God teaches us not to indulge in it. So when a negative thought comes to my head, I know that it's not from God. So I have to try and overcome that thought by occupying my mind with a positive thought. The positive thoughts now, for me to occupy my mind with the positive thoughts, I've gone the Bible. That is all for today, and I hope everyone's doing well, and pretty much I'll see you next time.